Bam, bam, bam. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's happening? Welcome back to another episode of the 49 Show. The 49 Show. The 49 Show. With your boy K.O.D.S. And I am here to tell you who I think the 49ers are going to go with in the 2020 NFL Draft. Then I'm going to give you what up, St. Cal? Same here, man. Stay safe. Same to you. I'm trying, man. So far, so good. I want to quickly tell you who I think the 49ers are going to go with the number one, with the 13th and 31st pick in the draft, or how they're going to move. If they're going to trade back or whatever, quickly as I can. And then I'm going to give you a my 2020 mock draft and why I picked who I picked. So basically what I'm doing here is I think first the 49ers, I think they like players like Jedrick Willis out of Alabama, Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. These are the offensive tackles that I'm talking about. And I think that they would go either Jerry Jeudy because of his route running abilities, or Henry Ruggs because of his speed. Me personally, I think a lot of offensive linemen, the tackles are coming off early, and I'm saying that based on what I'm hearing and the mock drafts that I've done. Now I've done a few mock drafts, and every time I've done them today, I have saw basically the Jedrick Willises from Alabama, the Andrew Thomases coming off the board quick, very quick. And so I'm going to go on a limb and say that the 49ers, this is my 49er draft. This is what I think the Niners are going to do. I think that they are going to stand pat at 13 because of so many offensive tackles being taken early. I've got, from what I've seen, I believe that Cleveland takes an O-lineman, Arizona takes an O-lineman, Jacksonville may take a receiver or O-lineman. The Giants take an O-lineman. So I think, with that being said, the Niners will stand pat at 13 and go with Henry Ruggs, wide receiver out of Alabama. Reason being, I think that Shanahan would love to add speed to the offense because of the fact that he already has Deebo Samuel, who can run the short and intermediate routes underneath. And he can also, with Henry Ruggs being in addition to the offense, he can use Deebo Samuel to actually become the number one receiver and get his route running more polished and whatnot, even though he ran the hell out of slots and skinny posts and things like that, which is required in the 49ers offense. I think that he will do those things with him. And I think that the jet sweeps that we ran a lot with Deebo, I think that'll start going to Henry Ruggs because of his speed. He's even faster. Not that small, but he is very fast. And I think that, like I said on the last video or the last few videos back, Shanahan had a front row seat looking at the speed of Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman. And he now knows that he needs this too now. The league is changing. And it changes every year, every draft, every season. And I think that if you get Deebo to polish his route running, Jalen Hurd being a big slot, or whatever, Trent Taylor, if he's healthy, him being in the slot as well, Kendrick Bourne doing what he does also on the other side, outside, when he's on the field, as far as short to intermediate routes goes, slants, skinny posts, and what have you. When Henry Ruggs is on the field, he can be in the slot, he can be outside, and he lined up outside a lot at Alabama for the majority of the time, and he takes the top off the defense. He can run end rounds and jet sweeps with him, while Deebo, Bourne, or Deebo and Trent Taylor in the slot and Kittle work the underneath of the field. He's taking the top off. He's coming in the round running jet sweeps, and he can take some of them to the house. The things that Debo did, Henry Ruggs can run those plays, those jet sweeps, even to a higher degree. So I'm going on a limb saying that the Niners are going to pick Henry Ruggs at 13. And I think when they get to 31, they're going to – now, they could pick Judy, but the mock drafts that I'm seeing, Judy is already gone at 9 to Jacksonville, or at 12 to the Las Vegas Raiders, or even at 11 to the New York Jets. I just don't see him being on the board because of his route running ability. And I'm not saying he won't pick Judy if he's there, but I think that I've said it before, we don't need two of the same receivers. Yeah, Judy is a very good route runner. Don't get me wrong. We can still use Judy and Debo at the same time, but why not have somebody that's different? Debo can run the routes underneath and get better with the route running as well, while we have the new Marquise Goodwin. If we get rid of him or release him, I don't think he's going to be back for 2020. So now the new good one is Henry Ruggs, and he's taking the top off the defense, and he can run other routes. He doesn't just run 9 routes all day. He can also catch those slot posts, those skinny posts, and take it to the house. Now, I had my doubts on saying that the Niners will go with Ruggs due to the fact that I'm not sure if Jimmy Garoppolo can throw the deep ball. I'm not 100% sure that he can do that accurately, but I do know that Garoppolo is a fool with it when it comes to throwing the short routes, the intermediate routes. He's great. But outside the numbers, he's average. And when it comes to over the top with the deep routes, he's not good at all. That's just my opinion. Those are some of the reasons why I was almost reluctant to pick Henry Ruggs. But I just think that this is what the practices will be for. If this pandemic and this COVID-19 stuff ever ends, they will say, hey, you're going to have to throw better deep because we're going to take our shots, point blank. But until you get better with that, and we'll take those shots more than we did last season, we will use him in so many different ways. And his speed will really, really hurt defenses. And then not just that, even if he's just a decoy, certain possessions, certain games, you have to respect his 4.28 speed that he ran at the combine in the 40. So I'm saying Henry Ruggs at 13. I think at 31, that's when they'll trade back to try to get back into the 3rd and the 4th round. Maybe not the 2nd. Well, yeah, the 2nd. The 2nd round, because they will, from 31, they'll probably trade back with a team and pick at maybe, I don't know, 38, 39, 35, somewhere in there. And I think that their 2nd pick will be in the 2nd round, and they'll go with somebody, depending on the board, they'll go with somebody, whether it's a corner, if Jeff Gladney is still there from TCU, or they will go interior D-line or O-line, depending on who that is when there's there. Now, I'm just giving you a scenario on what the 49ers are going to do. Now, let me give you my mock draft. I think if Ruggs is there, they're taking him because so many offensive linemen are already out the board. And I'm saying it because I believe that they really do like these offensive linemen. These wide receivers are going to be there come tomorrow night. I think they're still going to be there. You know, last year we thought these guys were going to go fast. Last year was a great wide receiver class, but the first wide receiver didn't get picked until Marquise Brown went at 18, 20 or something like that to Baltimore. And then the very last pick of the first round was N'Keal Harry going to New England. There was only 2 wide receivers picked, even though we heard so much about DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, and whatnot. Those all happened after the first round. So as good as talented and as deep as this class is supposed to be, I'm not so sure they're gonna come off the board like people think. So let me show you my draft. And I'll explain why. This is why I came with the draft that I came with. All right. Now, pick 1. Joe Burrow to Cincinnati. That's pretty much explanatory. I think that's what's going to happen. I did see one mock draft where Cincinnati traded out, and Miami came up to 1, and they didn't even take Burrow. They took Tua. This is crazy. And the Bengals were still able to get Burrow at 5. Just all kind of crazy scenarios going on. But I think Cincinnati goes number 1. They stay pat and they get Burrow at 1. This mock draft, Washington at number 2, taking Okuda. And I do think this is just a mock draft that I've done, a simulator, mock draft simulator. I do believe that the Redskins will trade back. I think the Detroit Lions will trade back at 2 and 3. With who, I don't know. The Dolphins are trying to move up right now to 3, and they're still trying to keep their number 5 pick. So it's going to be a lot of trades tomorrow night. Get ready for it. That's what they're saying. I think that's what's going to happen. You don't really find out all the truths that's going to go on in the draft until like the eve of the draft. And that's where we're at right now, the eve of it. So I'm going to say that Okuda, it says here Okuda is going 2 to Washington. Chase Young is going number 3 to Detroit. The tackle out of Iowa, Tristan Wirfs. Now, that's somebody that I know Shanahan will like, but he's not going to be available unless we move up. And I'm not sure if we're moving up to get a lineman. If we do that, Joe Staley has already let them know he's done. And maybe he's waiting to announce his retirement a little later. I don't know. But Giants at 4, Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. Number 5, Tua Tagovailoa, however you say that. 5 to Miami. 6, LA Chargers, Andrew Thomas. That's another guy that I like, but he's off the board. He's already off the board. Andrew Thomas, 6 to the Chargers. 7, number 7 overall, Carolina, C.D. Lamb, wide receiver. Okay? So that's another wide receiver that's already off the board. Listen to me closely because this is the reason why I'm picking who I'm going to pick later on in this draft. C.D. Lamb is gone already at 7 to Carolina. Arizona at 8. They're going with Isaiah Simmons. And now they're starting to list Isaiah Simmons as safety, not linebacker. Remember I told you last week in one of my videos that we could be in play for Isaiah Simmons. That's the type of player that you want to move up for if he's the top 7 or 8, because the earlier mock drafts had the Giants picking him, and I don't think that they should. They probably will, but they shouldn't because of the needs that they have on the offensive line. So right here, this is saying that the Cardinals are going to go, instead of offensive line, they're going to go with Isaiah Simmons, and it has him at safety. He can play linebacker outside. He can play safety in the box. He can play coverage and nickel downs as a linebacker. He can do it all. This is one of those Jabril Pepper type guys, if you remember him when he came out of Michigan, but he's better because he's faster. He's more explosive, and his coverage is A1 100, A1 steak sauce. All right, real talk. Now, number 9, Jacksonville. They're going with Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. That's no surprise. Henry Ruggs, on this mock draft, he's already off the board. Excuse me. Now, I'm saying that we're going to get Henry Ruggs if he's available at 13. But on my mock draft, he's already gone to Cleveland at number 10. Now, I don't really buy that because Cleveland really needs offensive line help. But they got him going with Ruggs. If that happens for real, OBJ's getting traded tomorrow night somewhere. And if it's San Francisco, I ain't mad at him. Moving on. 11, the Jets are going with A.J. Pensa. That's that edge guy. I forget where he's from, which you all probably know. 12, Las Vegas Raiders. It's hard to say Las Vegas. It's kind of funny to say that. But the Las Vegas Raiders at 12 are going with Javon Kinlaw. Keep in mind, Kinlaw's off the board. If anybody wants Kinlaw to be DeForest Buckner's replacement, you shit out of luck because he's already gone to the Raiders. Now, 13, here we go. 13, this is where it gets interesting. At 13, I traded back on my mock draft simulator. Reason being, Kinlaw's already out the board. Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, and C.D. Lamb are already out the board. If you were listening, C.D. Lamb went 7 to Carolina. Jerry Jeudy went 9 to Jacksonville. And C.D. Lamb, no, I already said C.D. Lamb. C.D. Lamb went 7 to Carolina. Jeudy went 9 to Jacksonville. Henry Ruggs went 10 to Cleveland. I'm not picking another wide receiver at 13. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. And then Kinlaw also just went off the board at 12 to the Raiders. So I traded back. And I looked and looked and looked. And I got denied a few times by Denver. I wanted to just go back to 15. They didn't accept the trade. I tried to go 21 to Philly. They didn't accept the trade. So this is what I found. I was almost kind of getting scared, just like, you know what, I'm just going to take the pick. And then it popped up saying, you can go here. And I went 23. I traded back from 13 to 23 with the New England Patriots. And I know people are already hearing the New England talk. They're going to trade up and try to get Tua. Well, on this board here, that can't happen because Tua already got picked at number 5 to Miami. Now, there's going to be some trades again tomorrow night. Miami's trying to pick at 3 and 5. They got the draft picks to pull it off, too. We'll see. But New England, I'm going to throw them a bone because they gave us Jimmy Garoppolo 2 seasons ago for just a second-round pick. So I'm going to throw New England a bone. Belichick gave me a call. He hit me up on the hip, and he said, hey, I need a quarterback at 13. I said, you know what? The players that I wanted is gone. I got you, Bill. I got you. And I already feel fucked up about the situation with Gronk getting traded and all that too, so I got you. So I did a favor for Belichick and the Patriots, and I traded back to 23. The Patriots are picking Justin Herbert, quarterback out of Oregon, at number 13. All right? Watch how I'm moving now. Watch how I'm moving. So I'm at 23. So I'm going to quickly run through 14 through 22. Jedrick Willis, a guy that I could have picked at 13. But I don't feel offensive tackle is a need that bad. I don't think offensive tackle is a bigger need than wide receiver and cornerback. And I know what you're thinking right now. KO, you did not pick a corner. You could have stayed back and picked a corner. Okuda was the only one off the board. Yes, I could have went C.J. Henderson at 13. I could have. But I would rather have him around 18 through 21. That's the value I put on him. I didn't want to pick him at 13. I'm sorry. I like more from what I've seen from other corners. So to pick him at 13, I didn't want to do that. So with that being said, Jedrick Willis goes to Tampa Bay at 14. C.J. Henderson goes 15. I could have picked him. I didn't. He's went 15 to Denver. Xavier McKinney, he went 16 to Atlanta. That's a safety. Christian Fulton, cornerback out of LSU, he went 17 to Dallas. Derek Brown, somebody else that you probably say you could have got him. Kinlaw was gone. You could have picked Derek Brown. I'm not crazy about Derek Brown. Just me. I didn't think he should be picked at 13. I didn't do it. And Miami got him at 18. 19, the Las Vegas Raiders pick again. They went with Jalen Reagor, the wide receiver. He's got some speed. They picked him at 19. Jacksonville at 20 goes with Josh Jones. That's a tackle, offensive tackle. 21, Philly. They go with Mekhi Becton. That's that tackle out of Louisville. There's some questions about his work ethic, his size, his weight, things like that. I damn sure wasn't picking him at 13 because I don't think Shanahan likes him. He's almost going to be like another, what's the big dude that we had at tackle that we traded away? Trent Brown. So I didn't go with him. Now, 22, Brandon, how you say, Ayuk or whatever the wide receiver name is out of, is it TCU, I believe? He is going to 20. He's going 22 to Minnesota. Now, here we go. Drum roll, please. At 23, this is where I go. The San Francisco 49ers select wide receiver Justin Jefferson out of LSU. I know you're thinking, why? Why? Well, remember, CeeDee Lamb was gone. Henry Ruggs was gone. Everybody's number one receiver, I believe, Jerry Jeudy, was gone. So I couldn't pick those guys. And I didn't value C.J. Henderson enough to pick him at 13. Neither did I Derek Brown, the defensive lineman out of Auburn. So, yes, the 23rd pick, my first pick of the mock draft, I went with Justin Jefferson because Lamb, Jeudy, and Ruggs was gone. I don't like Henderson at 13. I would have picked him at 18 or 20, but not at 13. So now Henderson went 15 to Denver. That's Elway. That ain't me. All right. I wouldn't have done it. Not right there. Not too soon. It was just too soon. Derek Brown went 18 to Miami. I didn't want him. And Kinlaw was already off the board. So there it is. I traded back and I went with Justin Jefferson at 23. 24, New Orleans is going with Jordan Love. 25, Minnesota goes with Jalen Johnson. That's that cornerback out of Utah. 26, Miami goes with Grant Delpit. That's the safety out of LSU. 27, Seattle going with Kalavon Chasen. That's that edge guy out of LSU. LSU is really running the board up. And then there's another LSU player, Patrick Queen, linebacker. He's going at 28 to Baltimore. Okay. Trayvon Diggs is going 29 to Tennessee. A lot of people seem to like him. That's Stephon Diggs' little brother out of Alabama. He's going 29 to Tennessee. 30, Green Bay going with A.J. Terrell. This kind of hurt me a little bit because I like A.J. Terrell. I like how he stays on the receivers, glued tight. He's real close to the body. He gets a lot of deflections. He's gotten beat a little bit, but not deep. His worst game was against LSU against Chase. And Chase is a bad boy. I'll be glad when Chase comes out next year. He's going to be a top receiver. Anyway, I went with the other guy, and that was Justin Jefferson. He really is my favorite wide receiver. That's another reason why I wanted to trade back and pick Jefferson at a later time, but I didn't want to go back too far and miss him. I really do like Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in this draft. I know you're saying I'm crazy, but I think he can do a little bit of everything that the top three guys that they're hyping up to do. He can run routes. Not quite as good as Judy, but he can run them damn near as good as him. He's got better hands than Judy, in my opinion, because Judy, hey, he drops a few balls. They don't talk about it, but he drops a few passes. And Judy's a little frail. He's a little thin. I think Joe Burrow, as good as he was, he had a lot of weapons. Jefferson played a part of that, along with Chase, Randy Moss's son, Thaddeus. Those guys were balling, man. So, yeah, I got Justin Jefferson. He was my favorite. But A.J. Terrell at 30 to Green Bay, he's gone. But he's gone because they knew I was probably going to pick him at 31. So 31, this is us again. Remember, I got an extra pick. I didn't tell you who I got. That's my fault. When I drafted Justin Jefferson at 23, New England gave me, of course, their pick at 23, and I already used it on Justin Jefferson. And they also gave me the 87th overall pick, which is a third round pick for this year, and they gave me a third round pick for next year in 2021. So I think I did pretty good. I think I did fairly well. I got a third round pick, which is what I needed. I got it for next year, and I got a third round pick this year from them, which I needed that because I gave up a third and a fourth to Denver for Emmanuel Sanders. So I couldn't recuperate both, but I'm getting to pick 3 times in the first 3 rounds, and that's not bad because that's what I needed to do because I didn't have anything after 13 and 31. So my next pick, again at 31, because A.J. Terrell is off the board, and I really do like A.J. Terrell, I'm going with Jeff Gladney, cornerback out of TCU. I know you're thinking, you should have went D-line right there. Keep in mind, Derek Brown's already off the board. Ken Law's off the board. Who else is off the board? There's another guy that I like. And he's actually from TCU. It's Ross Blacklock. I like him too. And this is crazy because on my mock draft, back-to-back TCU players got picked. Because after I picked Gladney at 31, Kansas City picks Ross Blacklock at 32. Defensive interior lineman out of TCU. But I needed a corner, in my opinion, more than I needed a D lineman. So I went right there immediately with Jeff Gladney. I like his style. I like his size. I like his height. He's got the long arms. He can play physical at the line of scrimmage. He's got some weight on him, a little muscle on him. He's not afraid to run up and tackle, something that that we need, because when we drafted Witherspoon, that was something that he needed to work on. I'm not saying Emmanuel Mosley is not going to be the starting corner on the other side this season in 2020. If he does, fine. But if he does, if Richard Sherman starts getting lit up, this is who we can bring in and put on that side. If not, then later in the draft, we get another corner. Don't forget, we also have Tim Harris, the corner that we drafted last year, who we put on IR when he really didn't need to go on IR. We still got him in our back pocket as well. So him and Gladney together can be the replacement for Spoon and Sherman if it doesn't work out with him. All right? But I do think Emmanuel Mosley is gonna really, really get better and improve. And with his speed, I don't see Spoon playing next year. I just don't see him starting. He better get used to special teams while he's still a 49er. All right? So I took, at 23, Justin Jefferson. I traded back with New England and picked Justin Jefferson, and I got their 23rd pick and picked Jefferson, and I also gained the 87th overall pick, which is a third-round pick in this draft, and I got the third-round draft from New England next year as well in 2021. So just to give you, my scenario, what I did and why I done it, Justin Jefferson at 23 for the 49ers, and Jeff Gladney at 31 from TCU, cornerback. So I've got my receiver, I've got my corner. In my opinion, those were the two biggest needs, whichever way you want to put it. Corner first or receiver first. But I didn't want to pick C.J. Henderson at 13. And I love Justin Jefferson, but I didn't want to pick him at 13. So I moved back to where I could get good value for Jefferson and get my corner with the next pick. And I knew I would, and I did. So that's pretty much what I got. There's no need in telling you all the players that got picked from 31 all the way down to 87. I won't bleed your ears like that. But my 87 pick, now I'm going defensive lineman, and it is Devon Hamilton, defensive interior lineman out of Ohio State. And I went with him basically because he was the best D lineman available in the interior at that value at that spot. So that's who I went with. Tomorrow, I may give you a full 7-round mock draft, but I just think it's unnecessary because once you get past the first 3 picks, who knows what's going to happen after that? Who knows? So that is me. That's what I done. All right. I have at 23, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver out of LSU. He's got hands. He done drop balls. He can run routes. Just as good as Judy. Not quite better than him, but he's right there, okay? He's right there. Yes, he was in the slot, so was Judy. He can play slot and outside, and he can play slot if Trent Taylor doesn't work out, if he's not healthy. He can play slot while Bourne and Debo is outside, or he can also play on the outside while Trent Taylor is in the slot and Debo is on the outside. And our big slot and whatever else Shanahan's going to do with Jalen Hurd. So again, the reason why I didn't stress I'm picking a wide receiver at 13. 1, they weren't there. They weren't available on my mock. And then 2, if Trent Taylor and Jalen Hurd comes back healthy, we're fine, really. Adding Justin Jefferson is just really a cherry on the top, in my opinion. Okay? So that's pretty much it. Justin Jefferson at 23. I traded back with New England, and that's why I picked at 23. They picked Justin Herbert up at 13. So I traded back to 23 and got Justin Jefferson. At 31, I got Jeff Gladney, cornerback out of TCU. He reminds me of Aqib Talib. So I don't think that's a bad pick. At 31, I think that's damn good value. And as a matter of fact, they told me from looking at the value that I got 72.2% in making that trade back, picking him at that spot. And Justin Jefferson was 65.2% of a draft grade. And at 87, I got Devon Hamilton, a defensive interior lineman out of Ohio State. They gave me 65.8 on that. So they're actually saying that's a better pick at that spot than Justin Jefferson was at 23. But on all my mock drafts, Justin Jefferson is gone before 25, 28. So I got him when I got him. That's what I did. All right. So let me know what you think. Surely somebody's going to disagree. I know you want Judy or Lamb or Ruggs. Like, I think we're going to pick Ruggs tomorrow night. Don't get me wrong. I said that already. If he's there, I think Shanahan wants to go with the speed. We need a Tyreek Hill on our team as well. Shanahan saw it in the Super Bowl. He knows I need this on my team as well. So I do think we'll get Ruggs if he's there. But on my mock draft, he was already gone. So was Lamb. So was Judy. So I traded back because I didn't want to pick C.J. Henderson, the corner out of Florida, at 13. All right? So that's pretty much it. Justin Jefferson at 23. Jeff Gladney, cornerback out of TCU at 31. Devon Hamilton, defensive interior lineman out of Ohio State at 87. And then keep in mind, we still got our picks at 156, 176, 210, 217, and then one more behind that. That's how the draft lines up. That's it. I'm done for now. I'm ready. I'm excited. This is what the draft is all about. I'm always excited and pumped up for the day of the draft and the day before the draft. And then the day after the draft, I'm usually down in the press because it's like, man, the Chargers got Derwin James. That should have been us, man. Something like that, or me like, man, the Seahawks got DK Metcalf. That could have been us, man. I mean, in 2017, I don't even remember who it was, but I know it wasn't Solomon Thomas that I wanted. I just wasn't doing videos then, but me and my partner looked at each other like, Solomon Thomas? I don't know about that one, man. So, look, it's a need to replace Buckner, but it's not a big, big need because we will put depth on that D-line, and it's just going to take a group of guys collectively to get together and do their job and take up for that one big guy named DeForest Buckner. I'm going to throw something else at you. Number 99, Yeter, whatever his name is, Gross Mata or whatever, Mata, out of Penn State. He reminds me of Buckner. He just plays on the end. He could actually beat Buckner in our defense. But all the mocks have him gone before 31, and I'm not picking him at 13. Ain't no way. So I just thought I would throw that at you. You've been watching another episode of the 4-9 Show with your boy K.O.D.S, and I have to go. Hope y'all be good. Hope y'all safe out there, man, during this pandemic. And I'll be back to let you know how I feel about the draft, who we got, if I'm happy, if I'm sad. Either way it go, I got to deal with it. It is what it is. Y'all be good out there, man. Peace and love. One. It is what it is. Y'all be good out there, man. Peace and love. One. Red and gold till I'm dead and cold.